149. This week, we are talking about, drum roll please, the movie that everybody has been waiting for, that Tom Cruise said was the ultimate peak and pinnacle of cinema.
Oh
A movie that a
God.
lot of people lied and
And
died
Stephen King.
for.
And Stephen King.
The Flash. The Flash,
DC
ladies and gentlemen.
DC gets some elite propaganda out of people, except it doesn't fucking work. Like,
Why did they lie like that? I trust Tom Cruise. I trust you, Stephen King. Why did y'all have to lie to us like that? Y'all didn't even have to do that.
TC's been going through it, man. First, Shakira doesn't want to be with him. Then, like, he's getting booted from all the IMAX screens. And now
I can't believe they're doing that to him, man. That's some bullshit.
I
After he
booked my-
saved your asses.
As soon as that report dropped, I booked my tickets for Mission Impossible IMAX that fucking day. Immediately. As soon as I saw that report, I said, "Oh, y'all not gonna I'm gonna be in there, bros. I don't care if it was in IMAX for one day. I'm not missing it. I don't care if they're taking it. I'm not missing it."
I really want to know how they're going to do that in the mid-level markets, because there's more than one quote unquote IMAX screen in y'all's major metropolitan liberal elite areas. And and like, are they really just going to be like, nah,
Only
fuck it,
Oppenheimer.
Barbie? Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, that's dumb if they do that. Because Mission Impossible, like, that's just split the fucking times, dude. Like, I don't know.
We're going to talk about The Flash. We're going to try to avoid spoilers, even though the whole movie is spoilers. But
this whole film is in the trailer. The entire thing is literally in there. If you watch that second, it's all in there. That they couldn't market their star, so they had to put everything in the trailer because they literally were trying not to use their star. So we saw all the Batman in the trailer, which is stupid.
They're trying to hide the man that, hide them that create did literal war crimes out in Hawaii. Anyway, we're gonna try to avoid spoilers because
For now,
because a lot of people, as many
because
people
no one's seen
as,
this film.
Yeah, I was gonna say, as many people as you would think would have seen this film haven't. I don't know how to phrase it other than like this should have done a lot better numbers,
shit
and
flopped.
it didn't.
No one has seen it.
Shit flopped. DC got another stinker on their hands, buddy.
Unreal. Warner Brothers, count your fucking days, dude.
3 in a row, man. 3 stinkers in a row.
This is nasty. There was no universe in which I thought, no matter how good or bad the movie was or how much people were lying or not, there's no world in which I thought no one was going to see it. I thought that they had done enough of the hype machine that people were at least going to get their asses in the theater, and that did not happen.
There's a whole lot that goes into that, and I guess we could talk about it. The day and date release stuff. I think people don't necessarily trust what their timing on everything is going to be. When I put out a Twitter poll, over half of the Twitter poll, it got like 200 something votes, said we're just going to watch it on Max.
Yeah.
Like, that's a problem, guys.
And they're probably lying because you know what the movie I said that about? Shazam 2. Have I
I
gotten
haven't turned
Shazam 2
Shazam
yet?
2
No, I have not.
I haven't
No, I have
darkened the
not.
door of Shazam 2. We normally do the box office numbers last, but do y'all have do you know what it made? You want to guess? Want to play the guessing game?
How much did they spend?
They said $200 million. I say double that because they had to reshoot everything in this movie.
I saw the headline, so maybe I shouldn't guess because I saw the headline.
I know it's in the 60s. I don't remember the number.
As of recording of this podcast on Sunday, is an estimated $200 million budget. I gotta believe that's like double that plus marketing. Had $64 million in the US and Canada, 139 worldwide.
Gross.
For reference,
they paid Tom Cruise all that money to lie to us and didn't even make a return on their investment.
Didn't even work.
For reference, what'd the last Thor make? Like,
more than that.
Yeah.
Way more than that.
Like 200 million opening weekend in the US, something like that.
Let me look it up.
I love that comparison because I probably have
more than that.
I have these movies ranked probably about in the same spot in my head in terms of quality of film. So I find it to be a very fascinating comp.
303 million globally. Let me see if I can find the domestic opening.
Well, I mean,
143.
Yeah, it's already shitting on it. And that's unreal. And maybe it was people, they didn't quite know how to market this thing. Maybe it was they couldn't market it with their star. Maybe people really are just that turned off by what DC put it out. But also, what I think it really comes down to, it's unimportant.
Yeah, it doesn't matter at all.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, you know, with all the MCU movies, love them or hate them, you can say, hey, this is going to be important.
But they tried to say that this was the reset of the universe, and that was one of the reasons why it mattered. Also, we're giving you Batfleck, and we're giving you your old nostalgia Batman. And so they tried to make it matter, but you're right. Like, the reason why no one would go see this film is because it doesn't matter. People don't care about DCU's expanded universe, which is basically going down to ground zero. This movie isn't directly connected to really anything that's going forward, because we don't know what DC is going to look like going forward. And we know we're in the James Gunn era, but we know this film has existed well before Gunn got over there. Yeah. So it doesn't feel tied to the connectivity. But I find that to be so weird, because I think a lot of people find it liberating to go watch some of these things and to not have to think about how it ties into the larger Marvel thing. Part of the reason why people were like Guardians 3 is because people were tired of the next build-up movie. It's like, oh, this is just a contained story by itself, and I don't have to think about how it ties into the rest of the MCU, and people enjoyed that.
The problem is that it still has a lot of connective tissue.
Also, those people are usually lying. Like the people who don't, the people who are like, I don't need the stories to connect. Yes, they do. Because every time a story doesn't connect, they're like, oh, I'm tired of these standalone Marvel projects. When are the X-Men coming in?
We should have prefaced this with saying whether we enjoyed or whether we think that the film necessarily matters or not doesn't necessarily play into what we think is the film as a whole, and if we enjoyed it or not. I want to like get that out there. Like, I feel like we can watch it and diagnose it for what it is. Now, saying as like a general audience, like, we do talk about the box office numbers a lot, and that kind of what drives the conversation in movies now, like it or not. There is a
Rotten Tomatoes scores, baby.
Exactly.
They got the Rotten Tomatoes score. The critics have been very kind to it.
Relatively,
yeah.
So, like, independent of if we think that it's actually important or good, or, you know, a jump to the theater film or sprint to the theater film, I think is a little independent of what we actually think about that movie. Now, I will say I am lower on it than y'all, but anyway,
this film is a good time. I mean, I was never bored. That's kind of my bar for DC, man. I never know what the hell they got going on over there. I was never bored. I had a good time. I have some notes, but generally I had a pretty good time. And that makes it even more interesting to me that the box office numbers are so bad, because it's not like people walked out of the theater and were bad-mouthing the movie, and that's why nobody went to go see it. These people didn't plan to go see it, whether it was good or not. These people never
show up. It is not the worst time that you will have ever had at a DC movie. Can we start there? Sure.
Yeah.
Yes.
The Flash.
Low bar,
but we cleared it. The Flash came out just this past week. 2023 movie, PG-13, 2 hours, 24 minutes. And guys, DC fans be lying. 7.4 on IMDb.
Cap.
Barry Allen uses his super speed to change the past, but his attempt to save his family creates a world without superheroes, forcing him to race for his life in order to save the future. That's not necessarily true that there aren't superheroes. It's kind of a false statement in that they're just in different places and in different forms. Anyway, 56% or 56 Metascore, directed by Andy Muschietti, who directed the It films, which are good on their own. Written by Christina Hudson and Jay Harold. Stars Sasha Calle as Supergirl, Ben Affleck as Batman, Michael Keaton as Batman, Michael Shannon as General Zod, Ron Livingston as Henry Allen, and no one else.
There are a couple of Superman cameos that we might not want
Yeah,
to
well, we
talk
don't want
about
to
at this
spoil.
point in the
Let's
podcast,
hold on to that.
but
For yeah, no one else. No one plays the Flash. Don't worry about it.
Nope, not even one Flash. Not one.
Nope. Especially not two Flashes. Ezra Miller plays the titular Flash in dose times. That's not even a spoiler. That's ruined by the trailer.
That's literally in the trailer.
I mean, kind of hard for it not to be. Like that's the whole movie. So
67%.
Could have made this trailer without putting any versions of the Flash in the trailer, because that's kind of the movie they tried to make.
Look over here. Don't worry.
Hey, hang out with Batman. You love Batman, right? Hang out with him.
Supergirl's cool and new, right? Anyway, the Flash has a 67% critic score, and again, DC fans, Snyder fans, especially Be Lion, 85% audience score.
Oh, it's come way down. They were advertising it had a 95% audience score at first. Before the fucking movie came out, I was like, yeah,
people spammed it.
No, you lying. If y'all are advertising the audience score from before the movie comes out officially, yeah, you fucking lying.
And it does this with every single, like, get mad at me if you want to, Snyder fans. You haven't quite come after us yet, but it is like anything adjacent to a Snyder verse movie, they just get on there. It's unbelievable.
And I don't understand it. I don't understand why he inspires this love in them. Like I don't see it. I don't get it.
How do we get these people to vote? Maybe we don't want them to.
I just can't believe that the Snyderverse fans are such a bro. They got that man mentioned twice at the Oscars. Twice. I will never forget it.
This character.
These people are terrorists, bro. These people are
terrorists. But whatever.
Twice,
man.
bro. Twice.
Yeah. Yeah. So somebody got on Twitter and was basically like, are critics being too hard on superhero movies nowadays because of the difference in the scores? And everyone was like, no. Not at all.
Your whole press campaign cannot be a bunch of lies and hyperbole. And then, of course, this stuff's going to come down because y'all were treating this shit like it was The Godfather. Y'all were lying about it. Y'all were blatantly lying about the quality of this film. And I enjoyed this film. So don't get me wrong, but they blatantly told lies and hyperbole, and it was in the press for fucking months. That was their rollout. That's an extremely nasty rollout for a film.
Dex, piggyback off of that, give it your review. We're already 13 minutes into the podcast, but go ahead.
Yeah, I enjoyed parts of this film, but in the end, it just ends up being just completely mid. Perfectly average superhero movie to me. Like, there's some stuff where I like Ezra Miller as Barry Allen on screen. Obviously, he's a terrorist offline, but yeah, in the movie, I thought he was cool. Like, or they were cool. The whole back and forth with two Flashes or whatever was interesting. Some of the Michael Keaton stuff works. Some of it really, really fucking doesn't. So,
oh, you mean when he's like not on screen? When he's clearly not doing the things that are on screen.
Yeah, when he's clearly not doing the things that are on screen. Like, it's just insane. The CGI in this movie, I know they tried to lie about it and be like, oh it's from the Flash's perspective. It's supposed to look like that. No, it's just bad.
If you have to make that kind of disclaimer, it is a bad sign, bros. You shouldn't have to explain like, oh, your CGI looks this bad, but it's actually a choice that we made. Like,
no, don't trust your eyes. Your untrained eyes.
Your stupid fucking face in your eyes.
You don't understand what's happening here. It takes a certain level of intelligence to understand the Flash CGI.
Yeah, many people have said.
But yeah, there's shit like that that's just bad. And a lot of the logic of the movie just doesn't make any fucking sense. Like, it's a whole multiverse thing, right? Like, that's not a spoiler or whatever. every multiverse movie, there's the scene where like the old wise guy like stops the movie and he's like, "This is how time works," and they do that in this movie, and you're just like, that doesn't make any fucking sense. That's the dumbest shit I've ever heard. Like, every other multiverse movie has done this well enough that you can be like, okay, sure. Like, you know, even in fucking Endgame, they're like, okay, hey, you've seen Back to the Future. It doesn't work like that. We're doing something different. And you're like, okay, still, I can rock with it. They do that same thing in this movie, and they just like pick a form of time that doesn't make any fucking sense. So you get to the end of the movie, and I don't know what the fuck happened. I don't know what it's supposed to mean. I don't know what they were trying to do. I don't know. I don't get it. I don't fucking get it. So yeah, it just ended up being mid. There are parts of it I enjoyed, but overall, C.
Damn.
Siege.
Are you lower on it than a C, Royden?
I've come down on it, yeah. Not that much from a C. Like, I'll just go ahead. I'm a C minus.
Damn. I did
I've
not
come
expect
down
to
on
be
it.
like this movie more than both of you.
As soon as I left the theater, I immediately was like, that's going to be worse than I thought it was. I was like, I came out of the theater a little, was like, oh, that was fine. And then I kept thinking about it.
The more you think about it, the less it makes any fucking sense.
That's true. That's true. That is very true.
Yeah, that's true. But also, it's not good. So the logic doesn't make any sense. And of course, multiversal storytelling, we've seen it like, or time travel storytelling in general, gets a little wonky when you just pull at it just a little bit. You know what I mean? Like every single one. I don't care like what it is.
Well, yeah, you can most of the time you can just hold your nose and go with it. Like,
yeah, exactly. Like Back to the Future, it's awesome because it's fun, and you just like don't think about this even a little bit. I just, oh man, I couldn't get over. I couldn't get over how bad the CGI was. Not to be the CGI police. It's fucking horrible, man. Atrocious, actually. It was like, it's not like 2000 like Spawn bad, but like it's some of the worst that we've seen in a long time.
And some of the choices they made, which I guess are spoilers with that CGI, you're like, why did you do that?
Yeah.
You didn't need to do that.
Half the stuff in the Speed Force looks crazy uncanny valley, and even just like animated stuff, the baby scene, we haven't even gotten that yet.
Baby shower. I didn't enjoy the baby shower.
Baby shower. That's really funny.
That's really.
I didn't enjoy the baby shower. That was fucking awesome. I had a great time doing the baby shower.
It was awful. When Caitlin and I looked at each other in the middle of the theater, we're like, "This is a little much, right?" Like, right? Like a bunch of scalpels are coming at a child's face, right?
Yeah,
guys.
A baby in a microwave, dog.
Which is surprisingly something that Ezra Miller isn't accused of.
Yet.
Yeah. No, so the CGI was terrible. The first two acts, like, I don't know if people really like the first act that much, but the first two acts really sort of set the tone for something that could have been, with a resounding finale, a really decent superhero movie, and then it just all goes to shit.
I totally agree.
It is so rushed. It definitely was reshot and re-edited and redone to try and fit some things in there. It just was rushed and bad, and the pacing was all out of whack in the third act. On top of that, the Flash is annoying in this movie. Ezra Miller as the Flash is annoying and bad. Sorry. Sorry. Especially him as the second Flash.
Them. Yes.
Sorry, them.
Them as the second Flash. Extremely annoying.
They are doing something. I don't know what it is. I guess they're trying to be a 19-year-old, which is, I didn't know how old anyone was supposed to be in this. Is Ezra Miller 45 or is he 18? Like, what? I don't have like a bunch of like crazy specific critiques other than it's like porn. You know it when you see it, and it was just not good.
Well, Tom
And
Cruise knew it when he saw it, and he told
Tom
us it's the
Cruise be
greatest porn he's
lying.
ever seen. I can't believe Tom Cruise lied to us. That's what hurt my feelings the most, if I'm being honest.
Look, I don't want to
He
dig
lied
deep
right to our
into the
faces.
things that Tom Cruise actually believes in, so we don't have to.
Also, I
point.
feel like Tom Cruise got put on the spot because like they asked him this like at an event, like on a red carpet or something. So what's he gonna do? Be like, nah, it's trash. Like, you know?
Yes.
And he doesn't do like press junkets anymore, so he has now cemented himself as the I go to the movies and see movies in theaters guy. You know, he's just like us for real. But like,
facts.
yeah, he has now cemented himself as that. Like, that's his bit. Like, see at the movies, you know. And
He
so,
saved movie theaters.
Yeah.
I'm sure I
Anyway.
would have lied for whatever amount of money he was paid, but I'm still very hurt that he lied to us. I'm actually offended that he lied to us. He knows he was lying. He knows he was lying. Tom Cruise is the GOAT. He knows good cinema when he sees it. He knows this was not good cinema. Sorry, it wasn't.
I just can't believe that Warner Brothers risked their entire thing on Ezra Miller while he was committing atrocities abroad for him to go out and put out just a Tony Snell stat line. That's unbelievable.
I agree with that.
Like,
that is actually very unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean, look,
but we know Warner Brothers to make bad decisions.
Yeah, right. I don't, sure,
Touché.
but like, I just couldn't get over like, and I haven't liked him as this character, granted, for the entirety of the thing, but even like more of them was tough.
They are mid, bros. I'm sorry, they are mid. And to see somebody who is that mid getting the kind of protection that they have been getting from Warner Brothers about this film, which was basically like, we can't get rid of this film. This is the big one. This is our classic. And for them to give us this is kind of crazy to me. And I enjoyed the movie, but I mean, it's fine. I have a lot of notes. And I do think that my biggest problem with the movie is that they are just annoying and not that great of an actor for this. I don't like the casting. I don't.
Which is crazy because they could have been. You know what I mean? They had promise when they were cast in this role. They had been in interesting projects.
Mm-hmm.
And I've never seen it. I'm sorry.
Well, that's fine, but a lot of people
I agree.
did, and I think I don't know.
Folks tried to pretend it was there, and I just never.
That's
I never
Ezra Chalamet, bros. I'm sorry.
No, don't
I've
do that.
Never seen it, bros. I'm sorry.
Don't do that.
I've never seen it. I've never seen Ezra or Timothy impress me. They've never impressed me.
I think Timothy would have been great in this role, to be completely honest with you. If this was Chalamet instead of Ezra Miller, this shit would have been way better.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like,
it still would be bad, though.
I don't know. I think I got it as the same quality of film, if I'm being honest.
It all just falls apart at the very end, too, because they don't solidify anything, and it leaves you wondering what the fuck was all of this for?
Exactly. The third act was a complete mess. A complete mess. Not just the CGI look of it, but all of it. It's just a complete mess.
It really punts. It just punts at the end. Yes. You're just like, what? We talk about it in spoilers here in a minute, but it really, if you've gotten to the end of the movie and you've seen it, you're just like, what are we talking about? Because then
they had a chance to make it a poignant, like, it's a multiverse movie. There's always these statements about fate and love and destiny and blah, blah, blah. And they just don't do that. Like, they're just like, let's have a cameo instead.
Hey, remember this guy? He's back.
It is a complete mess.
Yeah. Anyway, C- for me. I'll probably come down on it further than that. But I left it thinking like, oh, that was an entertaining 2.5 hours. The 2.5 hours, no pun intended, flew by. But it just falls apart so heavy that I can't help but think about what this means in the whole grand scheme of things, because they've been saying it. I don't know. Sorry. I shouldn't be mad at this mid-film, but I am mad now. I'm mad. I'm big mad.
Could have been so much better, and it just wasn't.
C are too low. I gave this movie a B-. Obviously, they're working against a lot. My expectations were very high because of the lies I was told, and there are some good things. I really enjoyed the first act of this movie. I was having a great time. I enjoyed the baby shower. I enjoyed the little Quicksilver thing they do where they slow everything down, and he
except it was worse and bad.
And I at that point had no issues with the CGI. When he's running around at the beginning, I had no issue with the CGI. My issue with the CGI doesn't come until he realizes he can go to the future and we go to those other spaces. Then I was like, yo, what the fuck is this CGI? What are we doing? And then we get to the third act, and I won't spoil it yet, but the CGI is so abhorrent in the last act of this movie. It's like it is distracting. Also, Ezra is doing stuff, I guess, with their emotional performance that is sometimes working, sometimes not in that last act. And I agree, it completely falls apart. And that is my big issue with the film, is that you can tell that there was like two great acts of a story here, but nobody knew how to land a plane. And the end of this movie is complete nonsense. And if you start to ask we all suspend a certain level of disbelief when we watch a comic movie, obviously.
Yeah.
And I think that they are being harmed by the fact that we've all got a little bit of multiversal fatigue, since Marvel is doing it both in the animated universe and in the live action universe. They're doing a lot of this. Plus, we've had Everywhere, Everything, All at Once. We've had a lot of multiversal stuff. And this movie was made way before most of the multiversal stuff that we've seen. But due to the circumstances of Ezra being a terrorist outside of the film sets, this movie's been sitting around. We've been hearing about it for years and years and years, but no one's actually been able to see it because it didn't come out because of the pandemic and because Ezra was running around like in Hawaii going crazy.
Well, they also, not to mention, they also were like, well, maybe Michael Keaton will come in and be the new Batman going forward, and we'll reset the timeline that way. Actually, no, because now we're going to switch to James Gunn coming in. They've reshot this shit because they haven't got anything figured out at that studio.
Yep.
This has been in production to hell.
And you can feel it. And when you're watching the last act of this movie, you can literally feel where there's cuts, there's edits. And I cannot stress enough. I know that people complain about the CGI. I am not the one who complains about CGI. The last act
None
of
us
this movie
are.
is an assault on your eyes. It is disgusting. It is nasty. And it is way worse than another CGI bad movie at the end of Ant-Man. Ant-Man Quantumania was a CGI.
You are breaking up, brother. It sounds like you are in a fucking time warp right now. Did we lose him?
He's in the Chrono Dome.
Uh-oh, he's in the Speed Force. Hold on, just pause for like 2 seconds. What is going on? Oh, we lost him. Okay. So, okay, there you are.
Wait, I'm back. Sorry, I was in the Speed Force. My bad. I don't know what happened there. I was traveling for the future. Anyway, the CGI looks bad. I think Ezra is there's like bits that are funny, but they should be funnier. But you realize that there's limitations on Ezra. I think Ezra is really overexposed in this leading role, and that's very hard because they're trying. You can feel in the movie they're trying to have the offense be more balanced. You hang out with Batman. You hang out with this Batman. You hang out with a different Batman. Now you're hanging out with Supergirl, and you can tell they're trying to pass the ball around. But at the end of the day, it's a Flash movie, so there's a lot of Ezra, and Ezra is not necessarily the most compelling person to be looking at. Some of the gags, some of the emotional stuff between the two Barrys is just really hard to really sink your teeth into because of the performance at the center of it. I was very bored by the performance personally, which didn't help. The last act being a mess didn't help. And I just have like 30 questions that I want to ask immediately to someone who wrote this movie. Like, how does this make any sense? So much of it doesn't make any logical sense. And I don't just mean in a supernatural sense. I literally mean like, wait, certain things don't make sense based on the universe you created. For example, when we go back in time, our universes, the present universe's Barry quickly realizes that he actually gone back to a very important day in his life, right? So they. When I say he, I mean he being the Flash, not they being Ezra Miller. So
we're learning
Barry,
here, folks.
Yes, sorry. Barry's pronouns, I believe, are he because he's called he in the movie. So I'm going to call Barry a he. So Barry, Barry 1, realizes this is a very important day in his life. And then there are things happening throughout that day that our Barry is surprised by. But it's like, wait, you lived this already. And so our Barry be like, yeah, I actually lived this whole thing. When Zod comes back, Barry's like, yeah, I've been through this day. He's here for Superman. And I was going to save a guy, but I couldn't save a guy. And so you knew this was going to happen. But when Zod first started coming down the spaceship, you acted like you were scared like everybody else. But you should have known that Zod was coming down in the spaceship. There's so much of the logic of the time travel, literally, like it doesn't make any sense when you think about it. You're just asked to accept certain things. And at some point, you realize that the people writing it had no idea what they were doing. And all the logic just falls upon itself. So that is not indicative of a good movie. It's just that it makes it hard to watch.
On top of that, DC, be a little more creative because this is like the third time you've used the Zod attack as a canon event. So can we get a little deeper here?
Can we also stop using AI in movies? Like, what are all these AI deepfakes that were in this movie? There's so many of them.
Oh my God, it's so bad.
What are we doing?
Awful, actually, awful.
Fuck it. Give your final review, and we'll talk about the.
We're 30 minutes in.
I'm done. B minus. I'm done. I can pass the rock. B minus. I didn't think that I would be in the space of defending this movie, but I did genuinely enjoy that first act. I loved the baby shower. I enjoyed the second act. I was having a good time. Meeting Keaton was awesome. Hanging out with Keaton was amazing. Hanging out with Batfleck was even cool, even though we didn't hang out with him for that long. There were certain I liked Superwoman or Supergirl. I thought she was awesome, even though they gave her no emotional like they gave her no actual character arc. She was like a shell of a person. Well, I guess she's not a person, but anyway, there were certain things that I enjoyed. There were some funny jokes. I did like the way that the CGI looked with the Flash when he wasn't time traveling. I thought that CGI stuff looked good, and I thought that was where all the money went, and everything in the speed. Everything in the future thing when he starts time traveling, that's the stuff that looks like crap. But him being on the ground and running around in the way that we've shown that, I thought it was very cool. That the way they did the phasing through the walls, the way they did that, I thought there was some cool stuff about this movie. And I agree with Roy in that there were the bones of something that could have been extremely fun and very well done with those first two acts that completely falls apart on the third act. But it gave me to B minus.
My big thing, why does he run like that?
It's so stupid looking, and it always has been. It looks so fucking stupid.
Like finger guns, like he's just.
You can just run, dude. Like I didn't watch the Flash. I don't know. I didn't watch the Flash TV show. I don't know if that's what.
You don't run like that.
But
it's right here,
you can just run. You can just run real regular, and just be fast. You don't have to be a fucking goober.
Marionette, yeah.
I hated that.
Goober.
So. The big thing from this movie, one, Gal Gadot needs work. She just needs a job, and that's why she's in this movie.
This is too straight.
That gag was funny.
Cameos.
We didn't need Gal Gadot for it, but that gag was funny. But I guess she has to have the lasso of truth, so she had to be there. But
yeah,
the gag
I mean,
was good.
Bruce Wayne saying like, I need. I have too big an ego for that. The trauma for my parents dying, yada yada. That was a funny gag. And then Barry comes in.
If I really want to solve crime, I could just solve poverty.
Give my money away.
That was really funny.
And and then Barry comes in and I've never had sex with a girl.
It was so annoying.
Yeah, sure. Okay. Anyway, Gal Gadot's in this movie for 2 minutes, which is they just can't figure this out. They can't give it up with some of these characters, Like,
apparently they are giving it up. The rumor is
with them.
The rumor is she's done
with Batman and her.
She stinks.
But not everybody.
And why was she flirting with Ben Affleck's Batman when we're not going to see either one of them ever again for a payoff? I just don't understand some of the decision making. Why are we even have a moment where they're flirting? Well, we're not going to see neither one of them niggas ever again in the DCU.
It's a payoff to the tens of fans that care about this.
There are dozens of us. Right. Dozens.
So the big thing at the end of this movie, they're in the Speed Force. It's not at the end, but it's approaching the end. The climax of the movie is they're in the Speed Force. Second Barry is obsessed with trying to fix things, even though he has known like Supergirl for like 2 minutes. And
they can't
literally
die.
No, literally.
He's obsessed with, and look, I get it, but no, he's obsessed with trying to change things, which we haven't done any character growth with Second Barry at all. It's been First Barry's show the entire time, and we've known that. And what in his character arc would make him think that we need to do this anyway? Long story short,
literally makes no sense. No, what you're saying is facts. It makes no sense. Long story short,
you can see it coming from a mile away. Like the Speed Force demon that it is in the Speed Force when Barry is trying to go back in time is Second Barry. Regardless, you see worlds collapsing in on each other because they've gone and changed so many realities. In those worlds are Christopher Reeve Batman. I apologize because I don't know her name.
Christopher Reeve Superman.
Or yes, Christopher Reeve Superman. Sorry, that's sacrilege. But Christopher Reeve Superman, a Supergirl, which I can't remember her name. I apologize. You see
Nick fucking Cage.
Nicolas Cage, Superman.
You see Nick Cage, which never played Superman, by the way, but was a casting for a movie that never got made.
Yep.
There are pictures of him online in a Superman outfit that was supposed to be written by Kevin Smith.
Yep.
Kevin Smith wrote the movie. They just canceled the movie.
And it was going to be directed by what's his face?
Tim Burton.
Tim Burton, yeah.
Yeah.
That would have been awful. That would have been ass.
Holy shit. That would have been awful.
Good Lord. What were they
thinking, they wanted to have a big spider. And that same big spider that did not get used for this film got used in the Wild Wild West to horrible effects in another horror.
So they gave, anyway, Kevin Smith, go online. It's smoke a joint, watch this entire talk with Kevin Smith. It's fantastic of all the like stuff he knows about Hollywood. And it's him talking about writing this movie. Just Google it or YouTube it. It's fantastic. Anyway, this was a fan service to no one.
To no one. There are no fans.
I know that because I'm a weirdo and I'm up till 4 a.m. and my YouTube algorithm like gives me this to watch. It is for me and no one else.
Yeah, I chuckled and no one else in my theater chuckled because no one else in my theater understood why Nicolas Cage was in Superman costume in this film.
I didn't understand it either, and no one in my theater understood it. So we all just had that moment of being like, "Is that Nick Cage?"
That's even weirder. That's so weird.
But it wasn't Nick Cage. It was AI.
CGI,
it's fucking AI,
so
bro.
Fucking bad that you have to look at it and be like, "Is that Nick Cage?" Like, why?
We have to fight back now.
Also Christopher Reeve, notably dead.
Yeah.
Like, you did not have to do that. Like,
confirmed dead person in this film. But when we let the Star Wars universe do it, we were opening up the chasm for us all to fall into hell. I am begging these studios, stop putting dead people in your films. Please stop.
Ghostbusters did it.
Star Wars, like, she died as they were making the movie.
True.
Christopher Reeve died damn near 20 years ago. Let that man be dead, bro. Like, do not do this.
Y'all let Timberland make a song with Biggie in 2023. Keep that same energy when these studios are putting dead people in their films. I want everyone to stop putting dead people in everything. Consistent across the board. Don't like this. I hate it.
I can't imagine that they didn't do that without like the estate's permission. But there's a weird cynical part of me that thinks maybe they didn't. Like, I have done no research on this, so like don't get mad at me, but I just like it feels icky regardless.
And even if the estate said yes, you should still be like, actually, no.
Actually, that's a horrible idea. I shouldn't do it.
Actually, he died damn near 20 years ago. We don't need a throwaway CGI Christopher Reeve cameo in this Flash movie. That's not important. We don't need that.
Have some fucking wherewithal.
Some.
Yeah, I saw that and I was like, I audibly, I was like, this is gross. And I had it ruined.
I literally groaned. I said, I can't believe that they did. I was shocked that they did that. And also, this, like Dex is saying, not only are we using AI deepfakes, which is nasty in itself, the CGI that is surrounding these people is some of the nastiest, shittiest CGI you will ever see, which makes it 100 times more disrespectful. You're pissing on their graves at that point. It looks so bad. DC, what are you doing?
And also, it just doesn't fucking matter. Like, these are throwaway scenes. Like, they don't, literally no importance to the plot whatsoever. They're just there, like, for fans to go, oh, it's Christopher Reeves.
There are like several actors that have played the Flash that are still alive, including one that people loved from the CW that begged to have them do this movie instead of Ezra Miller. Do that instead.
And they said, no, we're going to put Christopher Reeves. We're going to dig him out of the grave and put him on screen one more time instead.
We're going to give Nick Cage a check so he can pay his back taxes. Like,
you couldn't have called fucking, I don't know, Christian Bale. You couldn't have called.
He seems actively to not have want to be in this movie because just going
Robert Pattinson, like, you know, you have so many options.
In the last big reveal, I thought that was going to be Bat Pat, but then I realized as they were showing the scene, this Gotham is way too bright and it looks like shit's popping over there in this Gotham for this to be Bat Pat's Gotham, because Bat Pat's Gotham is the shittiest place on earth, bro.
I tell you what, from one billionaire to another, to myself, to Mr. George Clooney. Get your fucking money, King. I
love you.
He didn't want to put on that bat suit for shit.
He's not putting that fucking suit on. I'm just going to let George Clooney. Yeah. And I said, okay.
I'm going to wear a suit and show up for a day.
But, dude, that scene pissed me off because I'm like, now, what was the point of this?
Did it make
any sense? Why do we do any of this?
Sense, bro. This movie, the logic of the movie makes no sense. And if you even try to think about it, let alone trying to think about how it connects to the other unit. I don't know what the current state of play is going forward.
That's what I was going to say. Because Supergirl's coming back. She's scheduled to do a movie.
Does that mean that we're never going to see Keaton as Batman again? I know how they did the thing where, you know, he went up to Keaton and said, I was trying to bring you back. And Keaton says, you did? You already did? Like, I get it, like bringing Keaton back as Batman, but
yeah, that's nice.
Is he dead? Like, why did we have to fridge Supergirl 37 times? She's literally Supergirl. Why do we have? There's no kryptonite around anywhere. How is Zod just killing her so easily? Yeah. She's dying in the easiest ways. I'm like, this is literally Supergirl. This doesn't make any sense.
You're getting stabbed. Yeah, like
the last half of this movie is an abomination.
Yeah, when she comes back, are we going to be in a universe where she's not trash? Because she was getting cooked. Like,
she was getting cooked by normal, like, oh, swiped it. Oh, God, you stabbed me. It's like, Zod really got it like that? Zod is killing her with ease. This is crazy.
She got Night King, but like 87 times.
You know what else that I hated from this movie now, thinking back on that final big mega fight? They got so much blowback for committing like mass genocide when Zod and Superman were fighting in Metropolis, in Man of Steel, that they were just like, where do we put this fucking thing? In the fucking desert. Fuck them. Like, desert. It's just like,
who knows why? No rhyme, no reason. It's just in a desert. Zod
awful.
Like, I'm going to take over the world from this remote desert.
I'm going to start right here in this remote desert. I can land anywhere in the world. I'm going to land in this remote desert to start my global takeover.
it just doesn't look like anything. Like that scene that's been going around on Twitter, it doesn't look like anything.
Vast nothingness. Also,
Yeah.
they still have no fucking idea how to do either Superman or Supergirl fights that feel like anything is happening. They're just slamming into each other and like just falling backwards. There's no like real physical impact like to
I
look
trust Gunn to figure it out, but there is a Superman problem. It
at.
is like
big Dragon Ball Z fights.
The
Like they're
problem
just,
is that Superman is a stinky character. He's too powerful and he can't fight. He just flies into people and it's not cool. And I'm sorry, Superman is a trash character and he has too many powers and it makes him hard as a storytelling device. And this movie suffers from some of that too because it's just an objectively awful character.
Superman's hard to do in live action.
It's too powerful. There's nothing cool. Spider-Man be getting his
Superman
ass whooped,
is definitely an animated character. It is too hard to do.
Yeah, it's too.
Well, in the animated universe, it has been. Superman has always been an easel for which you can like paint whatever, cause du jour is going on. Kind of Captain America is kind of in that way too.
Yeah, you can make him the greatest good guy of all time. He's John Cena out here.
Yeah, and so like
the Make-A-Wish kids.
The fighting, I feel like, has always sort of been secondary because he's so OP. But like, yeah, there is a problem with like, who do we put against this guy? You know, I don't know.
Then, they had the exact same problem in Man of Steel, and then they just did it again with Supergirl this time. Except then, like out of nowhere, she just gets stabbed over and over and over again, and you're like, oh, okay, well, this sucks.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it's also tough for them because it's like obviously when you're making something like Spider-Verse, you could really play upon the fact that there's so many beloved Spider-Men and Spider-People and Spider-Things that people have a relationship with. They've seen them on screen, they've seen them in comics, so it really works in that way. Whereas people don't have that kind of relationship with the Flash, and so you have to literally use different Batmen and different Supermen and women in order to have like, oh look, we can show you Christopher Reeves. Oh look, we can show you, Batfleck. We can show you Michael Keaton, because there is no historical Flash that people like know very well and care about very much they've ever seen on screen. That makes it harder to make the movie, but it felt like so much of this movie was trying to shoot around the Flash, and not just because Ezra is a piece of shit, but really just because the Flash isn't as popular as Batman or Superman. So we're just using Batman and Superman to bolster this story and making you care. And it felt like, why? Like, actually, the problem is that I don't think that the Flash is very interesting. In fact, I find the Flash kind of annoying, and it's hard to get around that when I'm supposed to spend 2.5 hours watching the Flash.
Yeah, there's a reason they had the Flash on CW while fucking Gotham was on ABC or Fox or whatever. Like, there's levels to this shit. Like, Arrow and the Flash, y'all hang out over there on the CW for the children. But
the real superheroes are gonna be at the movies. So you're gonna be on
not even a superhero, fucking Jim Gordon.
Just the whiff of Batman gets to be in prime time on a real channel. The Flash, y'all can run for 9 seasons, but y'all gonna do it over there where ain't nobody watching.
I'm gonna have you seen the one where the gorilla tries to kill Obama and while he's at Harvard?
What?
Yeah. Hold on. I'll send
Is that a storyline in the Flash?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. A time traveling gorilla. I don't know.
I know nothing about that TV show other than that it just ended like last week.
They told so many lies. I don't know if y'all have seen Black Mirror yet, but the last act of this movie is comparable to me to one of the Black Mirror episodes, and I won't spoil it for people who haven't seen the episodes yet. But one of the short episodes is just like 2 acts of like, oh, okay, this is compelling, and then the third act of like, what the actual fuck just happened? How did we get here? And why was this decision made? And that's how I felt watching The Flash. The last 30 minutes of this movie, I was like, why? Why are we doing this? I thought the scene with his mom was heartfelt and good, but all the context around why we were having that scene made no sense. And the fact that he was having that conversation, and in the first place kind of made no sense, and it falls apart.
Do you want to?
I fucking get it. It's like break it down. Like someone's gonna have to break it down for me. Like I'm 5. So you going back to the past and interacting at all, fuck shit up. But you can sit there and have a full-on heart-to-heart conversation with your own mother and still get her murdered, but cameras work in that past, and also George Clooney is there for some reason. Like, how, Sway? Like, how? What just happened?
I just don't know why when he goes to his house to sit with the parents, he's like it's like he wasn't even aware of the fact that his younger self was his like real self was gonna show up. So, but he didn't think he was in his universe either. So much of this movie didn't make any sense. Like so much of the time travel stuff just didn't make any sense. He has a whole baby shower, which happens slowly for him because we watch it in slow motion, but happens quick enough to where the sandwich is just now getting done when he gets back to the shop. I was like, wait, but everybody else experienced you saving the baby, and that would have I just didn't. So much of it doesn't make any sense. What are you playing, Royden?
Hold on.
Barack Obama, it will almost be an honor to kill you.
What the fuck?
You will not escape. Grodd will complete his mission. Time to make America Grodd again.
Time to make America Grodd again.
Yeah, no thanks. Can we? I think we can all be done with the Flash as a character for now.
You're in the Speed Force again. Which has also been funny because Michael Shannon has now had to go on like press junkets for this movie and be like, I was on set for like 7 days.
I'm surprised it was that many.
And also they had like this weird like CGI thing over his face, so it didn't really look like Michael Shannon, but like I guess he was acting kind of.
So what's the play? I don't know. Yeah, what's the play for DC? Somebody break it down for me, like Dex said, like I'm 5. What?
Yep. End it all.
I heard the whole universe needs to go away. You're still.
That's all that matters. That's the whole point. Yeah. Get it out of here. We're done.
No. So James Gunn now takes over, but the whole thing is that it seems like because he was kind of left with movies on the slate that Aquaman is going to be around. Like Jason Momoa's Aquaman is going to be around.
That's okay. He can stay.
But like, if we're doing a hard reboot, do a hard reboot. Well, I don't know. Like, what are we doing?
Let's keep Jason Momoa. You can't. Jason Momoa is shown that he can give you a solid, 22 points a game through the season. Just because the team stinks doesn't mean we should trade Jason Momoa. Let's just trade everybody else.
I feel like you can't take half measures here, man. Y'all have been fucking this up for 10 years.
Jason Momoa was the only good thing in a Fast and the Furious movie. He was the only good part of it, bros. We should keep him around.
Man.
I mean, Aquaman kind of stinks as a character, but Jason Momoa is funny, so we should have him around. We already got John Cena to be a part of our Avengers or whatever we can put together. It just doesn't have to be our team up doesn't have to be the Justice League just because the Justice League is the biggest team up in the comics. Why can't our team up just be our most bankable characters and we can just put them together for any reason we want?
The thing is, all the characters should be bankable.
Oh.
Has the best characters.
They're just bad at this. Like, you have Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman. Like, what are we doing? Like, how have you been so bad at this? You had literally Batman and Superman fight each other in a movie, and you couldn't crack $1 billion on that? Like,
I
what are we
personally
doing?
never understood why people wanted to see Batman versus Superman like as a thing. I know they fight in the comics, but maybe fight. There's all the powers so
I got every other word of that. Teej, you're a lawyer. What happened to your internet? Come on.
He's on fucking dial-up modem right now.
You really?
But yeah, I don't-
Maybe try coming out and coming back in for a second, Dex, and I will carry this for a second.
okay, go ahead. I'm coming out. I'm leaving.
Yeah, it's like really spotty.
I don't know what the problem is with DC. Well, I do know what the problem is. They rushed everything trying to catch up to Marvel. And now, like, apparently they're going to fucking halfway reboot this shit. And that's not going to work. Like, you're still going to be behind Marvel. Still, to this day.
Well, going off of doing individual stories and like contained universes was always the problem. Like, I understand you wanted to set up the Justice League, but my thing is like, you almost could have just done the Justice League and everybody would have been like, yeah.
Just take your time with it, man. Like, they went from Superman origin movie to Superman is fighting a new Batman that we haven't met before. And Superman dies in the second fucking movie. Like, Superman dies in the second fucking movie that they ever made with this character. And then the third movie, they're like, okay, so Superman's going to come back. JK, just jokes. And then we're going to introduce Wonder Woman, Aquaman, The Flash, and Cyborg all at the same goddamn time while bringing Superman back. Like, in the third movie. That's just a bad fucking plan. That's just a bad fucking plan. Take your time, dude. Like, you've got bankable ass characters. You could have made a Superman trilogy and a Batman trilogy and made $6 billion doing those 6 movies and then had them fight in the 7th movie and then brought the Justice League into it. And like, you'd make so much fucking money. But no, we're going to let Zack Snyder put out a shitty little fucking Superman mythos trilogy bullshit that sucks. And now we're just going to try to have James Gunn save this shit halfway.
Not even halfway. Yeah, so that has been The Flash. I don't want to talk about this anymore. Sorry. I watch it on HBO Max.
The movies, I wasn't bored, but it's not something I'm going to remember or revisit anytime soon.
Yeah, you can watch it on Max whenever it comes out. Real quick, what we're watching.
We're watching Black Mirror.
Oh,
I finished the season today. It's
Do
fucking awesome. 4 of the episodes are really good, and one of them is really good for about halfway, and then the second half of the episode is complete bonkers and not in a good way. But good season. I also just finished Shrinking. Also a pretty good season. What else am I watching? I like I said at the beginning of the podcast, I want to get into the Extraction sequel. That's out. I'm hearing good things about that already, so I'm going to check that out probably tonight. But that's about it for me.
Dex, you saw the Transformers movie.
Yeah, it's a movie. Honestly, enjoyed it. I think it's probably a little better than The Flash. Like, just it makes more sense. And it's the Transformers, man. Like, You know what it is. Big slow-mo robot transformations. Blah blah blah. Whatever. You know.
Did,
If you haven't seen it at this point, who cares?
Did they do a Beast War?
they did war with those beasts.
Good. Swell.
Yeah, it's whatever. I'm gonna go check out that new Pixar movie. I've heard mixed things about it. Whatever.
I've heard mixed things too.
Haven't
It
even
also
seen
didn't make much money at all. It also kind of flopped at the box office.
Pixar is kind of in a fucking rut.
Never recovered from the pandemic.
Yeah.
Remember that when you came on here slandering the Mario's movie and what they did over there, that what they're doing over there is working, bros, and Pixar is old hat. I'm sorry, we're done.
That doesn't make it good.
Yeah,
But it is
Mario.
good. Peaches makes it good. It's literally good.
Fair.
Hey, bro, I saw that video of like some kid doing that at a talent show or whatever.
I saw
and the
that
whole
too. That was amazing.
Kids all went crazy. I was like, that's dope.
That's
I
what this is
respect
for, you know?
that. But still, like that movie is fine. Whatever. Wait, I haven't been watching any TV. I'm way behind on all TV. I've been watching so much fucking soccer, baby. Go Dash. Go Dynamo. We out here.
U.S. men's national team. CONCACAF
Also
Nation
out
League
here, baby.
champions.
Whatever
'Cause
that
matters.
means.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever
I don't know
that
what
is.
it is, but I'm glad we fucking won it. And you both
America, baby.
get shit on Mexico and Canada.
Royden, what are you watching?
I watched Dex, you watched this too, Reality on HBO.
Oh yeah, shout out Sydney Sweeney did her thing.
Yeah.
Is it good?
Yes, it is good. It's just interesting because it's the entire like I want to say dossier, but the entire
It's word for word, like an entire FBI
transcript
of an interview.
of an interview.
Wait, that's what the show premise is?
Yeah.
Like all the dialogue is just taken straight from a recording of an FBI interview with this chick who was accused of like smuggling,
Found guilty and
documents.
arrested of
Of doing what Trump did?
yes, quite
Yeah.
literally.
Yep, doing that, doing the Trump.
Yep. So she
Is there like a
smuggled it.
plot to the show?
Yeah.
It's a movie, but
Yeah,
It's a movie.
Yeah,
Oh, I
HBO
didn't know.
movie.
Okay.
it's
Got
like
it.
an hour 20. Like, and it's
I'm gonna tap in.
Yeah.
I like that.
Forgive me because I haven't watched what the show Euphoria.
The Idol.
Yeah, no.
No, I haven't tapped into the Idol either. It sounds what they're doing over there sounds gross.
I will not be tapping in.
There's enough. There's some people
Yeah.
online that are like, people are lying. Like Twitter isn't a real place. This show's fire, and it's just like, no. I trust that all the people, you know, when it got 27% on Rotten Tomatoes, I trust that actually.
No, I'm not tapping into that. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So reality winner, she snuck an NSA document out of her work.
Her name is Reality.
Reality
Yeah.
winner.
What a
Yep.
great what a weird name for a human. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
So she snuck a document out of the NSA about Russia hacking the elections, and she got 5 years in prison. And,
I'm definitely gonna watch this. This sounds
yeah.
fascinating, and I love
The
Sydney
FBI
Sweeney.
showed up at her house and were like, "We're about to search your shit," and she didn't know to shut the fuck up. So,
Yeah. Big never talk to the feds movie.
yeah,
Yikes.
just shut the fuck up. You
Yeah.
don't have to have these conversations. But it's actually really cool. It's a interesting way to make a movie. I've never seen anything like it. I'm sure there are things like it, but I've never seen anything like it. So
Yeah, and they, in just to spoil the sort of creative choices of the movie, they like when parts are redacted, they just like blip out of reality. They like blip off of screen, like so they'll be in the middle of a sentence and like it'll like mute, and you
Yeah.
won't hear like what was redacted in the transcript. So it's a really interesting sort of way to do the movie.
and like the sound design of it and stuff like that makes it really tense, even though it's just basically a long conversation. It's
Yeah.
like just really fucking tense.
Also,
And-
the FBI guys are the most FBI dudes that have ever been in a movie too. They're just like, yeah. I
that movie
wa-
rules.
Yeah, it's pretty good. I watched Missing on Netflix, which was a movie that came out in like February. Did okay business. The follow up to Searching, but it
I
was
started it but didn't finish it. But I feel like I want to finish it because I know there's
It's
a big
good.
twist. Just like in Searching, there's a big twist. I know there's a big twist. I know the twist really threw people for a loop, but I don't know what the twist is yet.
I actually was surprised by the twist, which I'm never really that surprised in movies. I'm kind of like, yeah, God, I saw it coming, but it was actually good enough to where I was like, yeah, this is how it goes. Shout out to Nia Long, too.
Love Nia Long, Queen.
Yeah, that I started rewatching ER on HBO Max, or sorry, Max, because it came on. There's like 1,000 episodes of ER, but it's good television. So same with my West Wing rewatch. I'm gonna watch like 5 seasons of it and then stop.
West Wing's super good.
Yeah, I don't know. That's it. For
Dex doesn't watch TV, so he's not watching any TV at the moment.
Nope. Sure don't. I watched all of Vanderpump Rules a couple weeks ago, and that was fucking sick.
I've heard good things about that. I kind of want to start watching.
Greatest season of reality television of all time.
So you just watched this past season? You didn't like do a primer or anything?
I've watched like back in the day because there's 10 fucking seasons. So I watched back in the day when it first started. I watched the first few seasons as they came on or whatever. So I kind of knew who the people were, but I didn't. Yeah, I wasn't like I'm gonna go back and watch every single episode again. Nah, I just watched this latest one.
Anything else?
No, that's it for me. I got my tickets for my Barbie and Oppenheimer double feature. Those are locked in.
Hell yeah, brother.
I got my tickets for Tom Cruise trying to kill himself in IMAX. Real Cinema's here, brothers. I'm just excited to be in the moment, and I'm ready to I watched Fallout again the other night. It was just as incredible as it always is. What a great film. I cannot wait for Dead Reckoning Part 1. I cannot wait.
What comes out? What's next?
What's our next episode? Ooh, are we gonna open it up to the crowd again? Are we gonna watch a classic? Something Dex hasn't seen? What are we gonna do?
I mean, Asteroid City's coming out. I don't know how we feel about Wes Anderson on this part. Like, okay.
I have never seen a Wes Anderson movie.
You've never done a Wes Anderson?
I have not.
I think I've only seen one Wes Anderson movie.
Never done a Moonrise Kingdom?
Moonrise Kingdom, Grand Budapest Hotel, none of it. Never seen it.
I think I saw Grand Budapest Hotel.
I mean, there's Elemental, which I feel, I don't know if Dex used to see it, and it's like, okay.
I'm gonna see it just to see it, but who cares?
Oh, you know what is coming out that I think we should do instead of Asteroid City, which I know will be the movie that I think more people actually will talk about by the end of the time or end of the year, but that No Hard Feelings movie with Jennifer Lawrence comes out.
Oh yeah, I do want to go see that.
No.
Yes, we're doing it.
Tease No Hard Feelings.
Comedies are back, baby. Raunchy comedies. Let's bring them back.
Stinks, guys. Why are we doing this to her?
She is really her, bro.
She's objectively bad, bro. She stinks. I'm sorry. She is
not objectively bad. Let's get that clear.
Is insane, bro.
Oscar winner, multiple time nominee.
I can't believe that we're gonna watch Jennifer Lawrence's slightly rapey comedy about trying to get a young man to fuck her. I cannot believe that. I can't believe this happening.
Yeah,
hey man, we watched the Ezra Miller movie. So
yeah.
Would the Jennifer Lawrence movie work if the sexes of the two characters were flipped?
Let's not do that here. I don't want to do that here.
Why do you hate women?
Thank you.
Tease, why do you hate women?
The sexes of you flip the sexes of these two characters, and this is basically a sequel to that rapey ass movie that got nominated for Best Picture. This is what is that called? Awkward Pizza or whatever the fuck that shit was called.
Licorice Pizza.
Yeah. This is basically the Licorice Pizza Part 2 starring Jennifer Lawrence. That's basically what this film is. It's a weird concept. It's weird. I cannot get over the weirdness of the concept, and also Jennifer Lawrence is bad. But I guess we're gonna watch. Oh my god, I can't believe we're gonna watch this film.
Yeah, we are.
Also, to be clear,
it's either that or a Wes Anderson looking straight into the camera, like whatever you want to do.
One of millions of other movies that happen to be classics that we should all take time to acknowledge instead of supporting Jennifer.
Fuck the classics. All right, man. I hate when I tell people that I like write about movies and shit, and they're like, "Oh, have you seen fucking I don't know.
Citizen
The
Kane?
Maltese Falcon? No. Get out of here.
No, fuck you. I haven't.
Casablanca, my ass.
I don't give a fuck. Get out of here, dude.
Oh God! All right, that has been a one take podcast. We'll decide off pod what we're actually.
Why
gonna
does the
end up
Weeknd's
doing.
hair look like this in this show? I'm looking at this video from the show on my timeline. I didn't know his hair looked like this. I'm not watching this show. What the fuck is this show?
You don't have to. No one's making you.
I didn't know his hair looked like this in this show. What the fuck are they doing over there? Wow.
Sam Levinson, count your days.
He must be stopped.
You can find us at a one take podcast on Twitter, one take podcast on Instagram and TikTok. It's the number one take pod on all those platforms. Like, rate, and subscribe, download, and review. We really appreciate that. You can find Dex's writing at apollohou.com. It's apollohou.com. You go to the movies and pop culture tab.
Is there?
And you can find Tej at the Slander U. Tej, did y'all read my question on air? I haven't listened to the episode.
Wait, what was it? What was your question? I don't remember.
Will Malik Murphy? Will it cause a rift in the podcast when Malik Murphy transfers to Auburn?
No, we did not. But we're definitely going to, because that is hilarious. I would be
Damn.
so furious. I would be so furious if my Texas son ends up at Auburn and Pablo gets to now enjoy him. No.
Yeah, that was my question when you were asking.
That's a great question.
I can't believe that Blah didn't read that one off. That's crazy. Anyway.
It's because we didn't have Pablo on this episode, so he wouldn't have been there for proper context. So he wasn't there.
All right. So you can find us at all those platforms. You can find us at Royden Ogletree, at Lord Dex Hinton, and at Les_Humble Tej on Twitter. Hit us up. One Take Pod. Dex, what do we do?
Hashtag support Florence Pugh. We out here.
All right. We're out.